Welcome to Greenwood, Indiana. Today we're featuring HME Ahrens-Fox new apparatus, a CORE62 Spectr II engine built specifically for their department. We're going to talk to the people behind the build and what makes this department special, their culture, their tradition, and their history. So join me as we tour the Greenwood, Indiana Fire Department. Assistant Chief Brad Coy, thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. It's an honor.
It's an honor for us, right? So what's fun about what we get to do is we get to see what departments are doing. And what's exciting for me is a lot of times we get stuck talking a lot of negative about the fire service. We get caught up in the minutia of the day-to-day, and we lose sight of like the positive things, the things that push us to want to be better and to be better. Walking around Greenwood today here at Station 1. Correct?
Station 91,
right?
Yep.
Culture on the walls, there's flags, there's banners, there's gym equipment everywhere. Walking in, the guys were courteous and polite, offering coffee. Like, those are the things that you want and expect from
Absolutely.
a firehouse,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's exciting to see that happening here in Greenwood.
Well, it's a brotherhood. I mean, and we want to make sure that we talk a lot about pride and ownership. We talk about taking care of everything that we have. We're very blessed to have a lot of good stuff here. So we want to make sure that we're showing that in public. And obviously, when we have somebody from the outside coming in, we want to make sure we show them the respect as well. So
I understand that, but I think you can't just turn it on and turn it off.
No, I hope
it's
not.
an everyday thing, right?
Yeah.
And
the busting the chops and all those things that happen.
We're just doing it.
I was going to say, you're around long enough.
Yeah,
You'll
right.
be part of the family without a doubt.
No doubt. And I think that's what's special, right? Because that's the glue that then holds it all together.
Well, I think you guys know, like, this is a rough job at times. We see some really bad stuff, and firemen, police officers, they have a different way of handling things, and you got to rely on your brothers and sisters around here to be able to break some of that up and be able to get on with your life and go home the next day, that kind of thing.
So that's interesting you bring that up, because I come to learn that Greenwood is a very young job.
Very much so. I've said this a couple times over the last week. We have two very distinct groups, if you want to call it. We have the older generation, which I'm a part of. We have a handful of guys that have already retired and moved on. We've got a handful of them that are probably within 3 to 5 years of retiring.
Right.
The chief of the department just told me the other day, once we get these 14 recruits that we're working with right now, about 65% of the department will be 3 years or less on the job.
3 years.
3 years or less on the job. So we got a whole new generation coming in.
As an assistant chief, when you look at a number like that, that's staggering, I have to think.
It is. But the positives, right?
Right.
So when I got on this department, I got on as a part-time firefighter,
Right.
working 12-hour shifts.
Department was very different back then.
Very different.
Yeah.
We only had 2, 3, 4 career firefighters, okay? The house you're sitting in right now, we worked 3. There was only an engine here. You would literally get lost. You wouldn't see somebody for 2 hours because now we have 11 guys living at this house. You can't go anywhere without somebody being beside you. But we have grown. We have grown tremendously over the past 3 or 4 years. I'm worried about the youth, but I was talking earlier. We made a decision in our 2 academies ago that we're going to bring everybody in and train them in-house.
I love that.
We're going to spend 4 to 6 months with them. We're going to train them up. That way we know we're teaching them what we want them. Our training division's done an amazing job.
It's your way.
Yeah, we get our guys to come back in and be instructors. So we feel, even though they're young, we feel like they're hitting the street and they know a little bit of what they're doing. Experience is going to be experience, right? You can't make up for it.
You got to teach the core values, the please and thank you, the right and wrong, being courteous, right? All those things. And when you do that, you lay that foundation, you build that network for people to succeed.
Yeah.
And that's what you need to do in your fire company. And that's what's happening here in Greenwood. I see it. I mean, I'm looking at not just the people, it's the culture, it's walking around and seeing the environment, people coming up, shaking hands, saying hello, engaging, right? Then you break it down and you start looking at the equipment, right? We have a beautiful TDA behind us, but behind us here, we have a brand new engine. CORE62 out of HME, right?
We've been very blessed, yeah. And I know the fire service. I grew up here, right? This is the only fire department. I worked on a volunteer fire department. The white has always been white. And that goes back to the history of Greenwood.
Yes.
So we've had those people over the years that have knocked on the door and said, you know what, we should fire services red. And I say, yeah, I buy into that. Let's add a little red to it. But I'm the history guy. It's white. And man, I think this is a beautiful truck. I think all of our trucks
stands
are beautiful
out.
trucks. Absolutely.
I like it a lot. I think it's really cool. I know this engine here, 91, has a twin also, right?
Yep.
You have two of them that you brought in.
Yep, Station 92. And I'm not the guy to talk specs on you because Lieutenant Johnson does a great job. Our spec committee did a great job. But man, you know what it is, especially I've listened to you guys. You talk about the wait times for apparatus, the cost that have went up, and for us to be able to get two of these, get them in relatively quickly. When we were working on it, it was 90% of our spec anyways. I used to work on engines because we had to throw everything on them. They felt like they were, 3 football fields long. You couldn't turn a corner with them. These things are pretty sharp. They get around pretty quickly. Got everything that we need. Again, that's how you talked about the tiller behind you. We've evolved into a truck company and an engine company, and having specific jobs when we get on when we get on the scene. So that's helped us a little bit as we've designed. Which
then allows you to focus on the firemanship aspect of what we do, right? Because I'm a firm believer, and I'd love your feedback on this. It's like, I'm a firm believer that we should be focusing on firemanship and everything else comes along with it.
Absolutely, yeah, right? I agree. Yeah, we've been very blessed. As we've grown, our fire department administrations, our city administration realizes if we're going to keep delivering that customer service, we've got to make sure that we're doing things, right?
That's it.
And Chief Lachelle, which I know you'll talk to later, he's a numbers guy. I'm not necessarily the numbers guy. I like I like to tell my wife I'm as far away from being a fireman now as what I ever was, right? But I still love the operations part of it, the boots on the ground. But, he talks about, we look at response times, we look at mileage, we look at all these things. And Station 95 coming online, hopefully moving in late in the fall.
Great.
And I was telling Sebastian, along with that is a logistics building and then a 5-story training tower that's coming along. So you talk about that training culture, we're even building on. Yeah, we're building on that even more.
Yeah. It's got to be exciting to continually see the evolution of the Greenwood Fire Department.
It is, and the crazy part is it's amazing where we came from, but I'm on my downward curve, right? Whatever that number is, where are we going to be at? Yeah. I want to be the guy sipping coffee, talking to these guys and seeing, man, back in the day, we were here.
Right.
And see where you guys are now.
Yeah.
So it's
very
crazy.
Cool. Lieutenant David Johnson, DJ, this is awesome, right? So we've spent the morning here in Greenwood, Indiana with you guys. And we're here because of HME Ahrens-Fox, right? Because you guys brought on 2 new engines this past year from HME Ahrens-Fox. And they're 2 engines that are new to the fleet. You've never had HME Ahrens-Fox before.
No. Totally new to us. We had a need and really delivery time, that's key. And I think it's key across the nation,
So it was a quick turnaround. I know that was important for you guys. One of the big parts is departments are having a hard time getting new apparatus in the door because of the long and extended lead times. And so finding an alternative manufacturer, HME was able to do that for you.
It was a program truck. They had a couple in line. Coming off about a month separate, we were able to get it in time to change color, do some add-ons. We built the truck pretty quick right there, and then we got a spec back, we got the pricing back, and it was a done deal.
Lieutenant Kent Stevens, thanks for having us.
Thanks for being here.
This is cool. Greenwood, Indiana. We're here with HME Ahrens-Fox documenting the purchase of 2 new apparatus, right? The CORE62 engines. But a part of the project, too, for me, is also learning the backstory of Greenwood, the department that you are, the culture that comes from it. And a lot of the conversation this morning went towards the youth within the department. So you're looking at 80% under 10 years. What does it look like today compared to when you walked through the door 27 years ago?
When I started here, we had 2 guys on the street that were career. Everybody else was part-time. And now we have 4 guys on every engine, 4 guys on the ladder, on every shift, all career. We have 4 stations now. We're working on our 5th. We only had 3 when I started.
What's your staffing for the engine?
So we run officer, a engineer. My backstepper is a paramedic.
Okay.
And then I have another backstepper that's a firefighter.
So it's a 4-man engine company?
Yes.
For the engine company, are you guys a backstep or are you pulling off the cross lay?
We usually do the cross lays first.
Okay.
And it just depends on what it is. We've got a large 300 foot on the back step. that we use if it looks like an extended lay or anything like that.
What about mid-rises, apartments, things like that? Do you have that and like those type of stretches? What do those look like for you?
We do. We have 3 large apartment complexes in our district. Well, 4 really, and some of them are lower income. So we've had several fires there over the years and been in and out of those. They're not too far around. I mean, most of them you can reach with the 200-foot cross lay,
Okay.
but it just depends on the size of it. We also carry a blitz line that's a deuce and a half. That we
I
can
saw
pull
that
off.
on the new HME. It's running off the officer sideboard there underneath the ground ladder. DJ, the CORE62, it's a spec truck, right? So there were some aspects of this build that you couldn't control. So the core values of this truck, it has a 750-gallon tank, right? You don't need 750, but that's what it came with. And then it comes with a Hale Q-Max, right? So it's a 1,500-gallon single-stage pump, which is fine for you guys.
We're used to a waters, we're used to a 1250 single stage. Again, spec truck, 1500 is probably more than what we need, but it came with the truck and we didn't change it.
You're under the gun for delivery. You needed to get the apparatus in the door. You have an aging fleet that needed to be replaced, right? And so sometimes we have to make some compromise. But those aren't really hard compromises to make. It's more water and a larger pump size, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, even with the 750 tank, we have a low hose, and that was key.
it.
That was key. Short wheelbase, low hose bed, 500 horse motor, low cross lays.
That's important too, because I was asking you operationally speaking, how do you guys operate? Do you pull from the rear? Because you have a nice low hose bed in the rear, right? And so you're easy to shoulder load and pull right off the back. But you guys are more of a cross-lay department. So your back stepper is coming out of the cab, jumping out, and they're gonna be able to grab their nozzle and their loops and go without having to climb up. I mean, that is important for our people.
Absolutely, feet on the ground.
Yeah, and then the cab, it's a Spectr II. Provides plenty of room. And so with that, you're looking at equipment storage up front. I know you guys were talking about different types of disciplines that you're involved with, so there's a lot of equipment stored in the cab as well. DJ, 750 gallons of water on the engine, and yet the rear end is low. So you guys are a cross-lay department. You primarily go to the cross-lay first, but you have an 1 3/4 in the rear for a longer lead, right?
Longer lead, yep.
And then what else do you have back here?
We recently switched up to 2 1/4.
Right.
So we have a pre-connected 2 1/4, and then we have 2 1/4 bundles
Right.
that we take for a high rise.
Yep.
We got some 2.5 here, and of course the 5-inch supply.
What I like about it is simple, scaled-down engine companies that don't need to carry everything, right? And so when you start looking at hose, right, you got 2 3/4 off the crosslay. You have an 1 3/4 on the front bumper. Now you come to the rear. You got an 1 3/4 longer lead in the back. Now you have 2 1/4. You talked about your high-rise bundles. Where are we going to put them, right? We're pressed for space because we have ladders on the officer side and not high side compartments, right? So there's trade-offs, right? There's all this conversation, but at the end of the day, the amount of hose you carry is sufficient to be able to put the bundles up here in their own divided.
Again, we had to get creative.
And then you have 2.5 dead here, and then you have your 5-inch supply here, and then on the back step, obviously, different miscellaneous pieces of equipment. But it's really well put together. What I like about it too is the scene lighting in the rear is bountiful, right? So you're able to light up this whole area, right? The steps are comfortable and easy to get to climb up. It's a low hose bed. I mean, you can literally pull anything you need from the street level and not have to climb up on that back step.
Again, feet on the ground.
Battalion Chief Matt Schinkel, thanks for having us.
No problem. I appreciate it.
Today, we're here with HME Ahrens-Fox, featuring the 2 engines that you guys recently purchased through them, and talking about the build and so on. But part of that is understanding the department behind the build, right? Because in order to build a fire apparatus, you're building that truck geared towards your district, the type of department you are, how you respond, how you operate, right? So for me, sitting with the battalion chief, I mean, this is your sandbox on the street, right? You get to put the moving parts together on the fire scene and so on. So give me a little rundown about yourself. 20 plus years?
27. I started March 13th of 2000. I'm the longest serving tenured full-time firefighter here with the city of Greenwood. Yeah, getting ready to start my 27th year.
Yeah.
About 1.5 years in the battalion now. Never thought I'd come to be a battalion.
Yeah.
Was willing to be a lieutenant for the rest of my career, but I spoke with the recruits that we have the other day and realized that I'm quickly coming to the end. So
Really?
glad to step into this role and help lead for the future.
What was it about the company officer position?
I enjoyed being with the guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, being with the guys is everything. Everything from the daily, hey, get up and do your normal routine, to let's decide what's for dinner and lunch and dinner every day. But helping them through the training and keeping my crew up to speed on what we needed to do.
I think the company officer position is probably the most important within a department.
Yes.
Right? They kind of maintain the tempo, they create the culture, they push the backsteppers and the chauffeurs to be good at their craft, right? And a dynamic company officer really sets that tone.
Yes, it does. It does. They set the daily routine. They set the daily expectations.
That's it.
And as long as you have the willingness to continue to do that, like I said, I was willing to do that for the rest of my career until I stepped into this position.
Yeah, but I also think though too, right? We need those dynamic company bosses to have a seat at the table.
Correct.
Right? Because, you know, we have a lot of great guys that are riding the front seat of the apparatus, but they don't get to sit in the decision-making table at headquarters.
Yes, that's a different change.
We need those guys, though, to promote through the system, too.
Yeah, we do. We do. And it's eye-opening. I tell my guys on a daily basis that you know what you need to know at times. And then when you get over here, it's a change because you get a little bit more in-depth decision-making and the ability to send the department in the right direction.
And also represents the guys that are riding the back step.
Correct.
Right? Because the back steppers, the guys that are into this job and love this job, that have firemanship at their core, and that's the mission of who they are, we need decision makers that believe in that mantra too. You said you're the longest tenured full-time firefighter. Is that what you said?
Yes. So we were a part-time department.
Yeah.
And then we transitioned into an all full-time department, and I was in the first class that was hired. So other people have retired. Were a little older than me when they got hired. I was 22, so I've been at it a long time.
So in 27 years, the amount of growth, right?
Yeah.
And not only that, you're not stopping.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's growth happening again. New firehouse, new company coming online, new training building being put in. You brought training in-house. So it's like Greenwood is not stopping.
It's not stopping. We're going to keep growing, and the department's got to keep growing with it.
That's the key.
Right.
Right? And a lot of times in the fire service, we're always asked to do more with less. And I hate that.
Right.
Because a lot of times departments, career or volunteer, they're like, okay, like we don't have a choice. But when you find communities that believe in their services and you guys have this level of service that you must maintain, finding that working balance with the municipality or the city to be able to put on another fire company, that's an anomaly these days. You're not finding it across the country.
Yeah, and we found that the hardest part is we were stagnant for so long that a lot of our members are under 5 years of service, and what skills they need to have to promote and to be proficient at their job is hard to get to them to pass that 5-year firefighter skill level early on.
Yeah, but you guys are providing the tools, right? What I find super important is providing opportunity to our people. They might not be able to turn a wheel every day and put a hose in the street for a fire, right? But we can give them opportunity by having a firemanship culture so that when they do have to put hose in the street for that job, they're ready and proficient to do so.
Yeah, and the training tower is going to be a huge benefit to us where we can just go on a daily basis and just work on our skills and provide those new firefighters the skills they need to be proficient.
Yeah. DJ, I know you were talking about side-mounted ladders versus in the tank mounted, right? That's how your other apparatus are, your other engine companies. So being a spec build from HME Ahrens-Fox, this was a low side on the officer side. So you were going to have outward-facing ladders. You had to accommodate that.
Trying to get to the ladders, get them down is a little concerning. So what we did is we took the attic ladder, we remounted it up top, lowered the ladders, and then as close to this hose tray as we could, and then we took the end of the hose tray off, and our blitz line loads out the back.
Yeah, I kind of like this, right? So this is a space where some departments put their extended lay bundles or their high-rise packs, right? And so in my department, we have a 3-inch supply line that runs down here because we cheat between engines. So it's 100 feet that we could just pull off and run from engine to engine, right? I love how departments are finding this space as a usable space for different types of alternatives, maybe in hose stretching. And so you guys went with your blitz fire. It looks like you have about 100 feet of hose in there, and then it's easily deployable and easily to be packed from the street level. You're setting your engine companies up for success, right? The design of the apparatus is incredibly important to allow your people to do their job proficiently. And that's what you guys do, support services, right?
Yeah, that's what we try.
I love it.
you would have told me just 4 years ago that I would be living in an apartment in Greenwood, I would have said, what in the heck did I do to mess my life up, you know? But it's been great. It's been great. The mayor, the administration, the mayor really, we talked, and during our discussions, we talked about the growth. They talked about my vision and their vision, and our visions both aligned.
Yeah.
We had 62 full-time firefighters here in 2023, and just in the last 2 years, now this year in 2026, we just hired 6 additional. We're up to 86. So, and again, with Greenwood, we're the 3rd or 4th, I think, fastest growing city in the state of Indiana.
Right.
And I mean, it's nothing for us to have. I mean, we've got literally thousands of structures going up this year, and we're adding Station 95 currently under construction.
We just took a tour of that site.
Yeah. And so, and one of the things I thought was really important and something that I think and really believe in is training. And so we've got 34 firefighters we've got 14 right now with less than 2 months on.
Right.
And then we hired 20 in last year in October. I'm sorry, the year before last, so in 2024 in October. And so we went up, you know, a considerable amount. But those were the things that the mayor and I talked about and met with some council members as well. And it's just something that I'm getting a ton of support from the mayor's office and our city council. And so it makes my job a lot easier but these things were intentional. I know we needed the training building, but when we talk about leadership, what we're trying to do is when we have 34 people with little experience out of 86, and then when you look at the 5-year margin, and we're talking about 60 people, somewhere around there with 5 years or less, we start looking at basically so what we've done is we mandated all of our command staff, our division and battalion chiefs, all of our chiefs 2 years ago were mandated to go national conferences, go network, go find out what we're doing well, go find out where we can get better at things.
Sure.
Find out what other people's challenges are and what they've overcome. We took that down to the captain's level. They have to go over the last 2 years to a national conference. So our training budget it's gone up a tremendous amount.
I'll tell you, Chief, getting to review and see what's happening here today, there are a tremendous amount of initiatives that stand out to me, right? Just to kind of go back a little bit, you talked about fitness and how important it is. Every firehouse we went to had newer gym equipment. There's a commitment to it, right? There's even personal clothing. We were down at the one station where you have all the clothing laid out and they have workout clothes available for members and so on. So that initiative is positive for your people, right? Then you look at your training commitment. You're building a new 5-story tower, right? And everywhere I go, there's forcible entry props. I just had the absolute honor to speak to 14 new recruits that are 2 weeks in, right? Real honor for me to do that, and then I look around and the people I've met, and looking at all the things happening here, the growth of your city, right, which is explosive, right, and now you have a new firehouse being built, a new engine company coming online, right. You have the creation of the squad companies, the MIH program that I've learned about today. These are all initiatives that absolutely are matching the pace of the expansion of your community.
Right.
You don't find that in most cities. That comes from solid leadership, and it also comes with a spectacular relationship with the town fathers, the mayor, council, and so on. Actions speak louder than words, for sure. And I think when you recognize that your administration and command staff actually have their people at the core values of what the mission truly is here, I think that is a winning culture. And I think it's being done here. From what I've seen today, it's refreshing to see a department that's excited. It's young,
We are young.
right? I get that, right?
Yeah.
But it's a young fire service, right?
Yeah,
It's not
it
you're
is.
not alone,
Yeah.
right? A lot of departments are trending much, much younger. From what I've seen, I'm excited for you. I think Greenwood is in a fantastic position and a forward trajectory that just for building to represent the community that it's becoming,
Yeah.
as well as the department it continues to become.
Yeah.
I wish you nothing but tremendous success, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to get a firsthand view of it today. And thank you, Chief.
Thank
Yeah.
you for coming and,
Yeah.
and seeing how we do some things here and showing, showing you guys our family.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you. I appreciate it, Chief.
All right.
Really,
Thank you.
I appreciate you.